Jeff Bezos, the world's second richest man and owner of Amazon, recorded a $5.41 billion drop from his net worth, bringing his wealth to $171.4 billion and his year-to-date loss to $22 billion. The drop in both their assets came during the announcement that Russian troops have started bombing some parts of Ukraine, which caused panic in the markets. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Bezos Space. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates about Jeff Bezos. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video we're going to discuss Jeff Bezos strikes Russia. You don't know what's coming, so without any further ado, let's begin. Amazon Web Services does not have data centers, infrastructure, or offices in Russia. Its biggest customers in Russia are companies headquartered outside the country. Amazon said in a blog post Friday. Still, for example, one of its customers is Condé Nast Russia. Would Amazon shut down that company from accessing its cloud services, ultimately rendering its operations useless? Amazon and others could face backlash after internet service provider Cogent Communications said Friday it was halting service in Russia. Some critiqued the move. Russia itself has already blocked Facebook and restricted Twitter. United Launch Alliance (ULA) and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin had even announced that the BE-4 rocket engine, produced by Blue Origin LLC, will be developed further to replace the RD-180, though Blue Origin has yet to deliver its first BE-4 rocket engine. BE-4 is considered the most powerful liquefied natural gas (LNG) fueled rocket engine ever developed. Using an oxygen-rich stage combustion cycle, BE-4 is capable of producing 2400 kN, 550,000 lbf thrust with deep throttle capability. The Russian-made and designed RD-180 engine is used for the first stage of the American Atlas V launch vehicle. The RD-180 is derived from the RD-170, RD-171 line of rocket engines, which were used in the Soviet Energia launch vehicles. Apart from Blue Origin, Elon Musk-owned SpaceX has made significant strides in helping the US end its reliance on Russia. In a series of tweets in 2019, the SpaceX founder announced that the Raptor engine achieved the power level needed for Starship and Super Heavy. Elon Musk said his company SpaceX will rescue the International Space Station if Russia attempts to drop it from orbit after threats by Vladimir Putin's space chief just hours after activating Starlink satellites to guarantee internet access for people of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Musk has answered a plea from the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine, who asked the tycoon to help the embattled nation with satellite internet access. SpaceX, as a leading commercial firm that's already contracted by NASA to deliver both people and supplies to the ISS, wants a central role in protecting the future of the station. Axiom, which is contracted to ferry the first private crew to the ISS, has already committed to building its own space station, and it wants to use the ISS and jumping-off point for that venture. The United States has denounced Russia for conducting a dangerous and irresponsible missile strike that blew up one of its own satellites, creating a debris cloud that threatened 7 astronauts on board the International Space Station. US officials said Washington had not been informed in advance about the test and would talk to allies about how to respond. The Russian Federation recklessly conducted a destructive test of a direct ascent anti-satellite missile against one of its own satellites, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a statement. NASA on Friday shrugged off public comments from the head of its Russian counterpart suggesting US sanctions imposed against Moscow over the Ukraine crisis could destroy US-Russian teamwork on the International Space Station. Dmitry Rogozin, Director General of Russian space agency Roscosmos, took to Twitter on Thursday denouncing new constraints on high-tech exports to Russia that US President Joe Biden said were designed to degrade their aerospace industry, including their space program. Do you want to destroy our cooperation on the ISS? Rogozin asked in a series of tweets, according to a Reuters translation of his remarks. He also noted that orbital control of the space station through periodic rocket thrusts to maintain a safe altitude is exercised using engines of a Russian cargo craft docked to the ISS. If you block cooperation with us, then who's gonna save the ISS from an uncontrolled descent from orbit and then falling onto the territory of the United States or Europe, he wrote. There is also a scenario where the 500-ton structure falls on India or China. Do you want to threaten them with this prospect? The ISS doesn't fly over Russia, so all the risks are yours. As the escalating war tears through Ukraine, philanthropic forces from all corners, including individuals, family foundations, and companies, have mobilized and are serving food, aiding children, and helping in other diverse humanitarian endeavors. On February 25th, a day after Russia began its invasion, the Spanish-American chef, restaurateur, and philanthropist Jose Andre announced on social media that his global humanitarian organization, World Central Kitchen, had already begun feeding fleeing refugees on the Ukraine-Poland border. Tapping into that financial resource is a necessity since the reality is that humanitarianism requires coordination, concentration, and cash. That's especially the case in the Ukraine, where the crisis is evolving daily. Our teams are laser focused on our relief response as we work around the clock to get nourishing meals to vulnerable communities, says Lisa Abrigo, World Central Kitchen Director of Communications Strategy, WCK, began serving hot, nourishing meals within hours of the initial invasion and are now set up at 8 border crossings with Poland. Ukraine is facing a humanitarian crisis, international health experts have warned, as relentless Russian missile attacks on residential areas in several cities have left hundreds of civilians dead. As Moscow, defying global condemnation and overwhelming political and economic isolation, claimed on Wednesday to have seized the first large city of its campaign, and the Ukrainian president accused it of aiming to raise his country. The World Health Organization said some health supplies were already starting to run out. We're moving closer to a humanitarian crisis, Jarno Hubic, the WHO representative in Ukraine, said. This is moving very fast. Health service provisions are being moved to shelters and basements. We're concerned about electricity provision, oxygen, and medicines. Wall Street indices and stock markets across Europe fell after Russia subjected the Ukrainian port of Mariupol and the cities of Chernihiv and Kharkiv to a relentless missile bombardment. Investors abandoned riskier assets, pulling money from US stocks, in particular those in the tech sector. It's now clear Russia is seeking to seize the big cities and overthrow Ukraine's democratically elected government. President Zelensky said he had been warned, "The enemy has designated me as target number 1, my family's target number 2. Russia's stated aim is that Ukraine be freed from oppression and cleansed of the Nazis. Under this false narrative of a Ukraine run by fascists since 2014, Mr. Putin has spoken of bringing to court those who committed numerous bloody crimes against civilians. His long-term ambitions for Ukraine are unknown. One unconfirmed intelligence report says he aims to split the country in two. These are terrifying times for Ukrainians as bombs rain down on cities and civilians rush to Cold War-era bomb shelters. They were first asked to close the station's hatches and then took shelter in their return ships, the standard safe haven alarm procedure in the event of an emergency that might force evacuation. Britain's Defense Secretary Ben Wallace on Wednesday ruled out a no-fly zone, saying it would lead to a war against Russia across the whole of Europe, but also prevent Ukrainian pilots being able to target Russian forces from the air, giving an advantage to Moscow's stronger ground troops and tanks. The Russian president has drawn global condemnation for ordering the invasion of Ukraine last Thursday, that the West has responded with sanctions aimed at shutting Russia's economy off from the global financial system and forcing international companies to cut their ties with the aggressor. The measures have sent the ruble plunging to historic lows and raised the prospect of severe recession in Russia. Russia's move may not have any significant impact on the US's national security, but it will definitely derail the momentum of cooperation between the two countries in the space sector, as experts have pointed out. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now, and there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.